Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you're aboard a train hurtling through the darkness. The only sounds, the rhythmic clatter of wheels and the occasional whistle piercing the night. You're not just any passenger, you're Hercule Poirot, the world's greatest detective, with a mind sharper than a razor and a knack for unraveling the impossible. Your mustache twitches as you clutch a crumpled note, its words chilling. A killer is among us. Destination unknown. The train is filled with strangers, each face a mask that could hide a murderer. Every second that ticks by brings you closer to an unknown fate, and one wrong step could let a killer slip through your fingers. This is Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown, a pulse-pounding mystery inspired by the genius of Agatha Christie. We're about to embark on a thrilling YouTube journey through this tale of deception, danger, and deduction. If you're ready to dive into a world of secrets and suspense, buckle up, this is going to be an unforgettable ride. Hit that like button, hello mystery lovers, and welcome to the first chapter of our epic dive into Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. Today we're slipping into the impeccably tailored suit of Hercule Poirot, Agatha Christie's legendary detective, whose little gray cells are about to face one of their toughest challenges yet. This isn't your run-of-the-mill whodunit with a tidy crime scene and a handful of suspects. No, this story starts with a disappearance so meticulously staged, it sends shivers down your spine. We're in the 1930s, in a charming English village, where the air smells of fresh bread and secrets. By the end of this chapter, you'll understand why Poirot's instincts are screaming that this case is far bigger than it seems. So grab a cozy blanket, maybe a steaming cup of tea, and let's unravel this mystery together. If you're as hooked as I am, smash that like button and subscribe to join the investigation. Our tale begins in the idyllic village of Willowbrook, nestled in the lush green heart of the English countryside. It's 1935, and Willowbrook is the kind of place where time seems to stand still. The cobblestone streets are lined with thatched cottages, roses climb over garden walls, and the village green hosts cricket matches every Sunday. The locals are a tight-knit bunch, quick to share gossip over a pint at the Rose and Crown Inn. It's here at this quaint inn with its creaking wooden floors and crackling fireplace that Hercule Poirot has chosen to spend a rare holiday. He's come to escape the chaos of London, to sip tea in peace, and perhaps indulge in a good book. But as Poirot himself would say, the life, it has a way of disturbing the symmetry. And disturb it does, with a mystery that's as unsettling as it is intriguing. The trouble starts when Dr. Hilary Jessop, a brilliant but enigmatic scientist in her mid-30s, vanishes without a trace. Hilary is Willowbrook's resident genius, known for her groundbreaking work in chemistry. Her small laboratory, tucked away in a converted shed behind her stone cottage, is where she spends her days concocting formulas that could change the world. She's not a social butterfly, far from it. Hilary keeps to herself, her interactions limited to polite nods at the village shop or brief chats with the postman, but her work has made her a quiet legend, and rumors swirl that she's on the verge of a major breakthrough, a chemical compound that could heal deadly diseases or, if misused, become a weapon of unimaginable power. So when she disappears overnight, the village is thrown into a frenzy. The local constable, Albert Jenkins, is a young man with a ruddy face and a nervous disposition. He's more accustomed to rescuing cats from trees than solving mysteries, and Hilary's disappearance has him in a panic. He bursts into the Rose and Crown one misty morning, his uniform slightly askew, and practically begs Poirot for help. "Monsieur Poirot," he says, twisting his cap in his hands, "you're the only one who can make sense of this. Dr. Jessop's gone, and it's not natural. Something's terribly off." Poirot, ever the gentleman, adjusts his perfectly knotted tie and agrees to take a look. A mystery, after all, is like a perfectly baked soufflé, to him irresistible in demanding precision. He follows Jenkins to Hilary's cottage, his sharp eyes taking in every detail: the ivy climbing up the walls, the neatly trimmed rose bushes, the faint smell of chemicals lingering in the air. Inside the cottage, Poirot finds a scene that's almost too perfect. The living room is tidy, with a single armchair angled toward a cold fireplace. The kitchen is spotless, save for a lone teacup in the sink, a faint smudge of red lipstick on its rim. The bedroom is equally pristine, the bed made with military precision. But Hilary's suitcase is missing, along with a few personal items: hairbrush, a scarf, a pair of sensible shoes. It's as if she planned to leave, but why and where? Poirot's attention shifts to the laboratory, a small, windowless shed packed with scientific equipment. Glass vials, beakers, and notebooks line the shelves, all meticulously labeled. But one thing stands out. A single notebook, which Hilary's colleagues say she was never without, is gone. Poirot's mustache twitches a clue, perhaps. The village is buzzing with theories. Mrs. Tuttle, the nosy neighbor with a penchant for eavesdropping, swears she saw a sleek black car idling outside Hilary's cottage the night before she vanished. It wasn't one of ours, she says, clutching her shawl as she speaks to Poirot in her cluttered parlor. It had a foreign look, all shiny and menacing, like something out of a spy novel. I saw it at 10:30, just before I turned. In? Poirot nods, his mind already cataloging the detail. A foreign car in Willowbrook. That's as out of place as a peacock in a henhouse. He presses Mrs. Tuttle for more, but she only adds that the car's windows were tinted and she couldn't see the driver. Gave me the chills, she admits, like the devil himself was watching. Poirot's investigation takes him to the village pub where locals share their own tidbits. The postman, a wiry man named Tom, mentions that Hilary had been receiving strange letters in the weeks before her disappearance, envelopes with no return address. Postmarked from London. She'd snatched them up quick, Tom says, nursing. A pint looked worried, like she was expecting bad news. The barmaid, a cheerful woman named Elsie, adds that Hilary had been acting jumpy, checking her locks twice and glancing over her shoulder. She wasn't herself, Elsie says, polishing a glass. It was like she knew something was coming. Poirot listens, his mind piecing together the fragments. A secretive scientist, a missing notebook, a mysterious car, and now strange letters. The puzzle is taking shape, but it's far from complete. Back at the laboratory, Poirot conducts a thorough search, his gloved hands moving with the precision of a surgeon. He notices a faint scratch on the lock of a desk drawer, suggesting someone may have tampered with it. Inside, hidden beneath a stack of papers, he finds a small envelope. His heart quickens as he opens it, revealing a single sheet of paper in Hilary's neat handwriting. Destination unknown. Trust no one. The words are like a jolt of electricity. Poirot leans back, his mind racing. Is Hilary on the run, fleeing from danger? Or has she been taken, her disappearance staged to look voluntary? The phrase destination unknown suggests a journey, but to where? And the warning to trust no one implies betrayal, perhaps from someone close. Poirot's instincts tell him this is no ordinary case. The mention of the Orion Foundation, the mysterious group funding Hilary's research, only deepens his suspicions. Who are they, and what do they want with her formula? Let's take a step back and admire how Agatha Christie sets this up. She doesn't rely on a dramatic murder to grab us. She uses the absence of a person to create a void that demands answers. Hilary's disappearance is like a missing piece in a jigsaw puzzle. And every detail, the teacup, the notebook, the cryptic notads, to the tension. For you aspiring writers or mystery fans, this is a lesson in storytelling. Start with a familiar setting, like a sleepy village. Then introduce a disruption that feels personal and urgent. It's not about shock value. It's about making the audience care. Try this in your own stories. Establish a routine, then break it with something subtle but unsettling: a missing item, a strange visitor, or a note like Hilary's. It's a hook that keeps people guessing. By now, Poirot knows. He's on to something big. The black car, the missing notebook, the cryptic note, and the Orion Foundation all point to a conspiracy that stretches far beyond Willowbrook. He's no longer just looking for a missing scientist. He's racing to stop a potential catastrophe. The village, with its quaint charm, feels like a facade hiding a darker truth. Poirot's little gray cells are working overtime, and he's ready to follow the trail wherever it leads. In our next chapter, we'll see him chase the lead of the black car, a clue that pulls him out of Willowbrook and into a dangerous world of espionage and intrigue. You won't want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 2 as soon as it drops. What do you think, Where? Has Hilary gone? And who's behind this? Or drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep the mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because this is just the beginning. Hello, mystery lovers, and welcome back to our thrilling deep dive into Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're picking up right where we left off, following the brilliant Hercule Poirot as he unravels a mystery that's growing darker by the minute. In Chapter 1, we watched Poirot step into the quiet village of Willowbrook, only to be pulled into the baffling disappearance of Dr. Hilary Jessop, a scientist whose cryptic note, "Destination Unknown, Trust No One," set our pulses racing. Now, in Chapter 2, Poirot takes his first bold step outside the village, chasing a lead that's as slippery as it is dangerous, the mysterious black car spotted outside Hilary's cottage. This chapter is packed with suspense, new clues, and a glimpse into a world far shadier than Willowbrook's sunny lanes. So, settle in, grab a snack, maybe some biscuits to munch and let's follow Poirot into the heart of the mystery. If you're loving this journey, hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with every twist and turn. We're still in 1935, and Poirot is no longer content to poke around Willowbrook's cozy cottages. The disappearance of Hilary Jessop, with her missing notebook and that chilling note, has lit a fire under him. His little gray cells are buzzing, piecing together the puzzle, a brilliant scientist, a shadowy organization called the Orion Foundation, and a sleek black car that doesn't belong in this sleepy village. Poirot knows the car is his best lead, and he's determined to track it down. But Willowbrook's gossip mill can only take him so far. Mrs. Tuttle's account of the sinister vehicle shiny, foreign with tinted windows has given him a starting point, but he needs more. The truth? It hides in the details, Poirot muses, adjusting his hat as he sets out for the nearby town of Haverford, where the car was reportedly seen heading the night Hilary vanished. Haverford is a bustling market town, a stark contrast to Willowbrook's tranquility. And it's here that Poirot hopes to pick up the trail. Haverford is alive with activity. Market stalls overflow with apples and fresh bread. Horse-drawn carts rumble alongside the occasional motor car, and locals haggle over prices in the town square. Poirot, with his impeccable suit and polished cane, stands out like a peacock in a flock of sparrows, but he's undeterred. He starts at the town's only garage, a grimy establishment run by a grizzled mechanic named George Baxter. George, wiping oil from his hands, confirms Mrs. Tuttle's story. I saw a car like that, he says, squinting at Poirot. Black as night, fancy model, not from these parts. Passed through here late, heading toward the old railway station. The station, George explains, is mostly abandoned, used now for storage and the occasional freight train. It's a perfect place for someone to slip through unnoticed or to hide something. Poirot's mustache twitches. The plot, it thickens at the Haverford railway station. Poirot finds a crumbling platform and a rusty ticket office, the air heavy with dust and neglect. The station master, an elderly man named Mr. Pritchard, is initially reluctant to talk, his eyes darting nervously, but Poirot's charmed, and discreetly offered pound note loosens his tongue. There was a car, all right, Pritchard admits, leaning close. Dropped off a woman late that night. She was in a hurry, kept her scarf up over her face. Bought a ticket for the midnight train to London, but I didn't get a good look at her. Poirot presses for details. Was she alone? Did she seem afraid? Pritchard shrugs. She was with a man, tall, in a dark coat. Didn't say much, but he watched her like a hawk. Gave me the creeps. Poirot's mind races. Could this woman be Hilary, fleeing under duress, or someone else entirely, part of a larger scheme? Back in Haverford, Poirot digs deeper, visiting the local inn where travelers often stop. The innkeeper, a plump woman named Mrs. Carver, remembers. Serving a man matching Pritchard's description, a tall stranger with sharp features and a foreign accent. Possibly Eastern European. He was in a rush, Mrs. Carver says, polishing a glass behind the bar, kept checking his watch. Like, he was waiting for something. Paid for his tea and left before the train whistle even sounded. Poirot's interest sharpens. A foreign car, a foreign man, and a woman who might be Hilary, all tied to a midnight train to London. The pieces are starting to form a picture, but it's still maddeningly incomplete. He decides to follow the trail to London, but not before one more stop, the Orion Foundation. The mysterious group funding Hilary's research, Poirot learns that the Orion Foundation has an office in Haverford. Tucked away in a nondescript building on a quiet street, the office is modest, with a single brass plaque reading Orion Research Group. Inside, he meets Miss Evelyn Ward, a prim secretary who claims to know little about Hilary's work. Dr. Jessop's project was highly confidential, Miss Ward says, her voice clipped. We funded her research, but she reported directly to our London office. Poirot, ever observant, notices her hands tremble slightly as she speaks. He presses gently, asking about the Foundation's goals. But Miss Ward is evasive, offering only vague answers about advancing scientific progress. As he leaves, Poirot spots a man watching from across the street, tall, dark-coated, with a face half hidden by a hat. The same man from the station? Poirot's instincts scream yes. Back at his temporary base in Haverford's Inn, Poirot pieces together what he's learned. The black car led him to the railway station, where a woman, possibly Hilary, was seen boarding a train to London with a mysterious man. The Orion Foundation, with its secretive operations, seems to be at the heart of this. But why? Is Hilary a willing participant or a prisoner? And what about her formula, rumored to be a game-changer in chemistry? Poirot recalls the cryptic. Note: destination unknown. Trust no one. The words take on new weight now. London, with its sprawling streets and hidden corners, is the next stop. But it's a city where a killer could hide in plain sight. Poirot knows he's stepping into a web of espionage, where every move could be his last. Let's pause to appreciate how this chapter builds tension. Agatha Christie's genius lies in her ability to layer clues like a master chef building a cake. Each piece adds flavor, but the full picture isn't clear until the end. For you mystery writers out there, take note. A single clue, like the black car, can drive the story forward. But it's the small details, the nervous secretary, the man in the dark coat, that keep the audience guessing. Try this in your own stories. Introduce a tangible lead, then sprinkle in subtle hints that raise more questions than answers. It's like planting seeds of doubt that bloom into suspense. By the end of this chapter, Poirot is ready to board a train to London, chasing a lead that's both promising and perilous. The black car has opened a door to a larger conspiracy, one that ties Hilary's disappearance to a shadowy world of secrets and power. Willowbrook's charm feels like a distant memory now, replaced by the gritty reality of a case that's growing more dangerous by the hour. In our next chapter, we'll follow Poirot into the heart of London, where he'll confront new suspects and uncover a shocking revelation about the Orion Foundation. You won't want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 3 when it drops. What do you think? Is Hilary still alive? And who's the man in the dark coat? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is just heating up. Welcome back, mystery fans, to our gripping journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're diving into Chapter 3, where Hercule Poirot, our brilliant detective with the sharpest mind in 1930s England, takes the chase to the bustling streets of London. Chapter 2. Poirot followed the trail of the mysterious black car from sleepy Willowbrook to the Haverford railway station, covering clues about a woman, possibly Dr. Hilary Jessop, boarding a midnight train with a shadowy man. That cryptic note, destination unknown. Trust no one, is burning a hole in Poirot's pocket. And the Orion Foundation's secretive fingerprints are all over this case. Poirot's in the big city, where danger lurks in every alley, and deception is as thick as the London fog. This chapter is packed with new suspects, a shocking discovery, and a twist that'll leave you reeling. So grab your detective hat, maybe a cup of strong coffee, and let's follow Poirot into the lion's den. If you're hooked on this mystery, smash that like button and subscribe to keep up with every heart-pounding moment. It's 1935, and London is a whirlwind of noise and motion. Horse-drawn carriages jostle alongside sleek motor cars, street vendors, hawk their wares, and the air hums with the energy of a city that never sleeps. Poirot, with his impeccable suit and polished cane, navigates the crowded streets of Bloomsbury, where the Orion Foundation's London office is said to be located. His journey from Haverford was uneventful, but his mind is anything but calm. The clues from Chapter 2: The black car, the woman on the train. The tall man in the dark coat are swirling in his head like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle scattered across a table. The truth, it is close, yet so elusive, he murmurs to himself, his mustache twitching as he approaches a grand Georgian-style building with a discreet sign, Orion Research Group. The name sends a chill down his spine. This is no ordinary organization, and Poirot knows he's stepping into a game where the stakes are deadly. Inside, the Orion Foundation's office is a stark contrast to its modest Haverford outpost. Polished marble floors gleam under crystal chandeliers, and the air smells faintly of expensive cigar smoke. Poirot is greeted by a receptionist, a young man with slicked back hair and an overly polite smile. "May I help you, sir?" he asks, eyeing Poirot's dapper appearance. Poirot, ever the charmer, introduces himself as a private investigator looking into a delicate matter concerning Dr. Hilary Jessop. The receptionist's smile falters just for a moment, for he ushers Poirot into a waiting room and promises to fetch someone who can assist. As Poirot waits, his sharp eyes take in every detail. A locked filing cabinet in the corner, a newspaper on the table with a headline about international tensions, and a faint scratch mark on the doorframe, as if someone forced their way in. Out! Enter Mr. Victor Langley, the Orion Foundation's deputy director. A man in his 40s with a polished demeanor and eyes that seem to see right through you. Langley is all smiles, offering Poirot tea and pleasantries, but there's a steeliness beneath his charm. "Dr. Jessop." "Oh, a brilliant mind, but I'm afraid she's taken a leave of absence," he says smoothly, folding his hands on his desk. "Personal matters, you understand." Poirot doesn't buy it for a second. His little gray cells are screaming that Langley knows more than he's letting on. He presses gently, mentioning the black car and the train to London, watching Langley's face for any flicker of guilt. The man doesn't flinch, but his fingers tighten around his pen until Poirot doesn't miss. "I'm sure you're mistaken," Langley says. "We're a scientific organization, not a spy novel." But Poirot's not so easily dismissed. He asks about Hilary's research, her formula, and the Orion Foundation's true purpose. Answers are vague, all talk of advancing human knowledge. Poirot senses a wall of secrecy, leaving the office. Poirot's instincts tell him to dig deeper into London's underbelly. He heads to King's Cross Station, where the midnight train from Haverford would have arrived. The station is a chaotic hub, with porters shouting, steam engines hissing, and travelers rushing in every direction. Poirot tracks down a ticket. Inspector, a gruff man named Charlie, who remembers the train in question. There was a woman, all right," Charlie says, scratching his beard. "Kept her face hidden, like she didn't want to be seen. Had a man with her, tall, foreign-looking, in a dark coat. They didn't speak, just hurried off toward the taxis." Poirot's heart quickens. Description matches Pritchard's. From Haverford, but there's a new detail. Charlie overheard the man mention the Raven Club to the taxi driver. The Raven Club, Poirot learns, is a shadowy establishment in Soho. It's known for attracting a mix of high society and low life, perfect for clandestine meetings. Poirot's next stop is Soho, where the streets are narrower, the lights dimmer, and the air thick with cigarette smoke and jazz. The Raven Club is tucked down a side alley, its entrance marked by a single black door with a brass raven knocker. Inside, the club is a world of velvet curtains, flickering candles, and whispered conversations. Poirot, blending in as best a man with his distinctive mustache can, observes the crowd. Wealthy businessmen, glamorous women, and a few faces that look like they belong in a police lineup. He spots a man matching the description of the dark-coated stranger, sitting alone in a corner booth, nursing a whiskey. Poirot approaches, introducing himself as a curious traveler, but the man introducing himself as Ivan Korsakov is cagey. "I don't know any scientists," he says, his accent thick, possibly Russian. But Poirot notices a nervous tick, Korsakov's. Hand keeps drifting to a pocket, as if protecting something. A notebook, perhaps? The conversation is cut short when a commotion erupts at the bar. A drunk patron spills a drink, and Korsakov uses the distraction to slip away. Poirot gives chase, weaving through the crowded club, but Korsakov vanishes into the Soho night. Frustrated but undeterred, Poirot searches the booth and finds a crumpled receipt for a hotel called the Silver Crescent, just a few streets away. It's a small clue, but Poirot knows small clues lead to big truths. At the Silver Crescent, a rundown hotel with peeling wallpaper, the clerk confirms that a man matching Korsakov's description checked in 2 nights ago, with a woman who kept her face covered. She seemed nervous, the clerk says, like she was running from something. Poirot's mind races. Is this Hilary under duress? Or someone else entirely? Part of a larger scheme? Let's take a moment to unpack this chapter's brilliance. Agatha Christie doesn't just move the story forward. She deepens the mystery with every step. The Raven Club and the Silver Crescent aren't just settings. They're layers of a world where no one is what they seem. For you mystery writers out there, here's a tip. Use settings to reflect the stakes. A shadowy club or a seedy hotel instantly raises the tension, making every interaction feel like a chess move. Try this in your own stories. Take your characters out of their comfort zone and into a place that feels alive with secrets. It's like turning up the heat under a simmering pot. By now, Poirot's in deep. The Orion Foundation's evasiveness, Korsakov's suspicious behavior, and the trail to the Silver Crescent all point to a conspiracy that's bigger than one missing scientist. Hilary's note, "Trust no one," feels more prophetic than ever. Poirot knows he's closing in, but the danger is closing in on him too. In our next chapter, we'll follow him as he digs into Korsakov's past and uncovers a connection to Hilary's formula that could shake the world. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 4 when it drops. What do you think? Is Korsakov the killer, or just another pawn? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is getting deadlier by the minute. Welcome back, mystery lovers, to our heart-pounding journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're now in Chapter 4, and Hercule Poirot, our brilliant detective with the world's most iconic mustache, is knee-deep in a case that's growing more dangerous by the minute. In Chapter 3, Poirot followed the trail from Willowbrook to the gritty streets of London, chasing clues that led him from the secretive Orion Foundation to the shadowy Raven Club and a seedy hotel called the Silver Crescent. He's hot on the heels of Ivan Korsakov, mysterious figure who might hold the key to Dr. Hilary Jessop's disappearance, and her cryptic note, Destination Unknown. Trust no one. This chapter dives deeper into Korsakov's shadowy past and uncovers a chilling truth about Hilary's formula that could change everything. So, grab a cozy drink, maybe some popcorn for the suspense, and let's follow Poirot as he navigates a web of lies and danger. If you're loving this ride, hit that like button and subscribe to stay locked into every twist. We're still in 1935, and London's bustling energy is a stark contrast to the quiet lanes of Willowbrook. Poirot, with his impeccable suit and ever-watchful eyes, is back at the Silver Crescent, the rundown hotel where Korsakov and a mysterious woman, possibly Hilary, were last seen. The hotel's faded grandeur, with its chipped paint and creaky floors, feels like a perfect hideout for someone who doesn't want to be found. Poirot's little gray cells are working overtime, piecing together the fragments, the black car, the midnight train, the Orion Foundation's evasiveness, and now Korsakov, a man whose every move screams suspicion. Poirot knows he's close to a breakthrough, but the clock is ticking, and the stakes are higher than ever. The truth, it is like a shadow, he muses, adjusting his tie. It moves when you chase it, but it cannot hide forever. Poirot starts by questioning the hotel clerk again, a nervous young man named Eddie with a habit of biting his nails. Eddie's reluctant at first, but Poirot's charm and a subtle hint about police involvement loosens his tongue. "Man, Korsakov, he checked in 2 nights ago," Eddie says, glancing over his shoulder. "Paid in cash? No questions asked." "The woman with him?" She barely spoke, kept her scarf up like she was hiding. They took a room on the 3rd floor, but they're gone now, left yesterday morning. Poirot presses for more. Did they leave anything behind? Eddie hesitates, then admits he found a torn piece of paper in their room after they checked out. He hands it to Poirot. Scrap with a partial address. 17 Blackthorn Lane, E. London. It's not much, but for Poirot, it's a golden thread in the tapestry of the case. Blackthorn Lane is in East London, a gritty area where dock workers and factory hands mingle with shadier types. The street is lined with soot-stained buildings, and number 17 is a nondescript warehouse with boarded-up windows. Poirot approaches cautiously, his cane tapping the cobblestones. The warehouse door is locked, but a quick inspection reveals fresh scratches around the keyholes someone's been here recently. Using a hairpin from his pocket, Poirot's always prepared. He picks the lock with surprising skill and slips inside. The warehouse is dark, smelling of oil and damp wood, with crates stacked high. In a corner, Poirot finds a makeshift desk, littered with papers, chemical formulas, diagrams, and a name scrawled in the margin, Jessop. His heart skips. This is no coincidence. Among the papers is a letter half-burned, addressed to Korsakov from someone signing as the director. It mentions a delivery and a formula that will shift the balance of power. Poirot's suspicions about the Orion Foundation deepen. Are they after Hilary's formula for their own gain? Back in Bloomsbury, Poirot decides to confront the Orion Foundation again, but this time he's armed with new questions. He returns to their polished office, bypassing the receptionist to demand a meeting with Victor Langley, the deputy director. Langley is as suave as ever, offering Poirot a seat and a glass of sherry. But his calm facade cracks when Poirot mentions Blackthorn Lane. I don't know what you're implying, Langley says, his voice tight, but the Orion Foundation is a legitimate organization. Poirot, unfazed, drops another bombshell. He asks about Korsakov. Langley's eyes narrow, and for a split second, Poirot sees fear. I've never heard of the man, Langley insists, but his hands betray him, clenching the edge of his desk. Poirot leaves, certain that Langley is lying, but about what, exactly? To dig into Korsakov's past, Poirot enlists the help of an old friend, Inspector Japp of Scotland Yard, who owes him a favor. Over tea at a bustling cafe, Japp shares what he knows. Ivan Korsakov is a known alias for a man with ties to international espionage. He's a ghost, Japp says, stirring. His tea pops up in Berlin, Paris, Moscow always, near trouble. Word is he's a fixer, handles dirty work for whoever pays best. Japp's files reveal Korsakov's last known job, working for a shadowy group linked to arms dealers. Could the Orion Foundation be a front for something far more sinister? Poirot's mind races, connecting the dots. Hilary's formula, Korsakov's involvement, and the Orion Foundation's secrecy. The formula, he realizes, isn't just a scientific breakthrough. It's a potential weapon, and someone wants it badly enough to kill. Poirot's next move takes him back to Soho, where he tracks down a contact from the Raven Club, a bartender named Rosie, who's known for overhearing things. Rosie, with her sharp eyes and sharper tongue, remembers Korsakov. He was here last week, meeting a woman, she says, wiping down the bar. Not your missing scientist, though someone older, posh, with a fancy hat. They talked about a shipment and a train to the continent. Sounded dodgy. Poirot's ears perk up. A train to the continent? Could this be the destination unknown? He presses Rosie for more, but she clams up when a group of rowdy patrons enters. Still, Poirot has a new lead. A woman, not Hilary, involved with Korsakov. Is she an accomplice, or another piece of the puzzle? Let's pause to appreciate how this chapter ramps up the stakes. Agatha Christie's genius shines in her ability to weave new threads into the mystery without losing the core tension. Shady past and the warehouse clues pull us deeper into a world of espionage, while the Orion Foundation's lies keep us guessing. For you mystery writers out there, here's a tip. Introduce a new character or location like Korsakov or Blackthorn Lane that shifts the perspective but doesn't resolve the mystery. It's like adding a new ingredient to a stew, making It's richer without spilling the pot. Try this in your stories. Drop a clue that opens a new path. But make sure it raises fresh questions to keep readers hooked. By the end of this chapter, Poirot's closer to the truth, but surrounded by danger. Korsakov's ties to espionage, the Orion Foundation's secrets, and the hint of a train to the continent suggests Hilary's disappearance is part of a global game. The formula, whatever it is, could be catastrophic in the wrong hands, and Poirot's determined to stop it. In our next chapter, we'll follow him as he chases the lead of the mysterious woman from the Raven Club and uncovers shocking betrayal that brings him face to face with the killer. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 5 when it drops. What do you think? Is Korsakov working alone, or is someone bigger pulling the strings? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to take a deadly turn. Welcome back, mystery enthusiast, to our electrifying journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're diving into Chapter 5, where Hercule Poirot, our master detective, with his razor-sharp mind and iconic mustache, is closing in on the truth in the heart of 1930s London. In Chapter 4, Poirot dug into the shadowy past of Ivan Korsakov, uncovered clues in a grimy East London warehouse, and learned that Dr. Hilary Jessop's formula could be a weapon in the wrong hands. The cryptic note, Destination Unknown, trust no one, is proving more prophetic by the minute, and the Orion Foundation's lies are piling up. Now, Poirot's chasing a new lead, a mysterious woman from the Raven Club, who's tied to Korsakov and a possible train to the continent. This chapter is packed with tension, a jaw-dropping betrayal, and a dangerous encounter that brings Poirot closer to the killer. So grab a cozy blanket, maybe some tea to steady your nerves, and let's dive into the next twist of this thrilling mystery. If you're hooked, smash that like button and subscribe to catch every pulse-pounding moment. It's still 1935, and London's foggy streets are alive with secrets. Poirot, with his impeccable suit and ever-watchful eyes, is navigating the city's underbelly. His little gray cells buzzing with the clues he's gathered. The black car, the midnight train, Korsakov's espionage ties, and now a woman who might hold the key to Hilary's fate. The bartender Rosie's tip about a posh woman meeting Korsakov at the Raven Club has set Poirot on a new path. A shipment and a train to the continent, Rosie said, and those words echo in Poirot's mind as he heads to Victoria Station, the hub for trains crossing the Channel. If Hilary or her formulas being smuggled out of England, this is where the trail will lead. The truth, it is like a melody, Poirot murmurs, adjusting his hat. One must listen carefully to hear the notes. Victoria Station is a chaotic symphony of steam whistles, shouting porters, and hurried travelers. Poirot, standing out in his polished attire, weaves through the crowd, his eyes scanning for anything or anyone out of place. He starts by questioning a ticket agent, a wiry man named Mr. Fowler, who's been working the night shift for years. Fowler scratches his head when Poirot describes the woman from Rosie's account. Older, elegant, possibly wearing a fancy hat. Might have seen someone like that, Fowler says, chewing on a pencil. Came through 2 nights ago, bought a ticket for the Dover train, headed for Calais. She was with a man tall, dark coat, foreign accent. They kept to themselves, but she seemed on edge, like she was watching her back. Poirot's pulse quickens. The description matches Korsakov and the woman from the Silver Crescent. Could this be the train to the continent Rosie mentioned? Poirot digs deeper, visiting a nearby cafe where station staff often gather. Over a cup of strong tea, he chats with a waitress named Maggie, who's known for her sharp memory. Maggie recalls serving a woman matching Fowler's description. She was posh, all right, Maggie says, wiping her hands on her apron. Wore a velvet hat with a feather, but her eyes were nervous, darting around. The man with her kept whispering, like he was giving orders. They mentioned something about the package and the Orient Express. Left in a hurry when I got too close. The Orient Express, a legendary train bound for Paris, Istanbul, and beyond. Poirot's mind races. Is Hilary, or her formula, being smuggled across Europe? And who is this woman? Clearly not Hilary, but deeply involved? Determined to identify her, Poirot returns to the Orion Foundation's London office, suspecting a connection. This time, he's not in the mood for pleasantries. He bypasses the receptionist and demands to see Victor Langley, the deputy director. Again, Langley, still suave, but visibly tense, greets Poirot with a forced smile. "Back so soon, Monsieur Poirot," says, offering a chair. Poirot cuts to the chase, mentioning the woman at the Raven Club and the train to the continent. Langley's composure slips, his hand twitches toward a desk drawer before he catches himself. "I'm sure you're mistaken," he says, but his voice is strained. Poirot, ever observant, notices a photograph on Langley's desk, a group of Orion Foundation staff at a gala. Among them is a woman in a feathered hat, standing next to Langley, her smile cold. "Is she?" Poirot asks, pointing. Langley hesitates, then says, "That's Lady Margaret Cresswell, one of our benefactors. She's not involved in this," but Poirot's not convinced. The pieces are falling into place. Lady Margaret, the Raven Club, Korsakoff, and the Orient Express. Poirot's next stop is Lady Margaret's London townhouse, a grand residence in Mayfair with ivy-covered walls and a polished brass knocker, is admitted by a butler, who leads him to a drawing room dripping with opulence, crystal chandeliers, silk curtains, and a roaring fire. Lady Margaret, in her 50s, is every bit the aristocrat Huguenot, poised, with sharp green eyes that size Poirot up like a predator assessing prey. "Monsieur Poirot, what a delightful surprise," she says, her voice smooth as velvet. But Poirot's not here for tea and pleasantries. He confronts her about the Raven Club, Korsakoff, the train to Dover. Her smile doesn't waver, but her fingers tighten around her teacup. "I'm a philanthropist, not a criminal," she says. "I support the Orion Foundation's noble work. As for this Korsakoff, I don't know him." Poirot presses, mentioning the warehouse on Blackthorn Lane in the burned letter. For a split second, her mask slip sphere flickers in her eyes. Then, a shocking interruption, the butler bursts in, whispering urgently to Lady Margaret. She excuses herself, leaving Poirot alone. Seizing the moment, Poirot examines the room. On a side table, he finds a telegram, partially hidden under a book. It's addressed to Lady Margaret from I.K. Korsakoff and reads, "Package. Secure Orient Express. Tuesday. Be ready." Poirot's heart pounds. Tuesday's tomorrow, and the Orient Express leaves Paris for Istanbul. He's about to leave when Lady Margaret returns, her demeanor colder. "You're meddling in matters you don't understand," she says, her voice like ice. "Leave, or you'll regret it." Poirot, undaunted, smiles politely and exits. But not before noticing a man watching from the shadows across the street. Korsakoff. It's unmistakable in his dark coat. The betrayal hits Poirot like a thunderbolt. Lady Margaret, a respected benefactor, is working with Korsakoff. Is she the mastermind, or another pawn? The telegram confirms the Orient Express is the next step, but what's the package? Hilary, her formula, or both? Poirot knows he must act fast. He contacts Inspector Japp, asking for surveillance on Lady Margaret and Korsakoff and books a ticket for the Dover train to intercept the Orient Express in Paris. The race is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's take a moment to admire Christie's craft here. She introduces Lady Margaret as a glamorous figure, only to reveal her as a potential villain, keeping us guessing about her true role. For mystery writers, this is gold. Create a character who seems trustworthy, then drop subtle hints of twitch. A hidden telegram that unraveled their facade. Try this in your stories. Give a character a polished exterior, then let their secrets slip through small, telling details. It's like planting a time bomb that ticks louder with each clue. By now, Poirot's in a race against time. Lady Margaret's involvement, Korsakoff's plans, the Orient Express lead point to a conspiracy that could have global consequences. Hilary's formula is the key, and Poirot's determined to stop it from falling into the wrong hands. Our next chapter will follow him to Paris, where he boards the Orient Express and faces a deadly confrontation that brings him closer to the truth. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 6 when it drops. What do you think, is Lady Margaret the killer? Or is there a bigger player in this game? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to get explosive. Welcome back, mystery lovers, to our thrilling adventure through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're now at Chapter 6, and Hercule Poirot, our genius detective with his impeccable mustache and razor-sharp mind, is racing against time in 1930s Europe. In Chapter 5, Poirot uncovered a shocking betrayal. Lady Margaret Cresswell, posh Orion Foundation benefactor, is entangled with the shady Ivan Korsakov, and they're planning something big on the Orient Express. Dr. Hilary Jessop's disappearance, her cryptic note Destination Unknown, trust no one, and her dangerous formula are at the heart of a conspiracy that's spiraling out of control. Now, Poirot's heading to Paris to board the legendary train, where a deadly confrontation awaits. This chapter is bursting with suspense, new revelations, and a moment that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. So grab a warm drink, maybe some chocolate to calm your nerves, and let's dive into the heart of this mystery. If you're gripped by this tale, hit that like button and subscribe. To catch every heart-stopping twist, it's 1935 and Poirot is aboard a train from Dover to Paris, the first leg of his journey to intercept the Orient Express. The English Channel sparkles outside his window, but Poirot's mind is far from the scenery. Little gray cells are buzzing, piecing together the puzzle. Hilary's vanished notebook, Korsakov's espionage ties, Lady Margaret's betrayal, and the telegram hinting at a package on the Orient Express. The truth, it is like a diamond in the rough, Poirot murmurs, polishing his cane's silver handle. It requires pressure to reveal its brilliance. Paris is his next stop, where the Orient Express departs for Istanbul, and Poirot knows he's walking into a trap. The question is, who's setting it, and what's the prize? Paris is a whirlwind of elegance and chaos, with cafe tables spilling onto sidewalks and the scent of fresh croissants in the air. Poirot arrives at the Gare de l'Est, where the Orient Express awaits, its sleek blue carriages gleaming under the station's iron canopy. The train is a marvel of luxury, with plush velvet seats, polished wood paneling, and waiters serving champagne to passengers in evening dress. But Poirot's not here for the glamour. He's booked a first-class compartment courtesy of Inspector Japp's connections. And as he boards, his eyes scan the crowd. A Turkish diplomat, a Russian actress, a British couple on honeymoon. Any one of them could be Korsakov or Lady Margaret. In disguise, an entirely new player. The air crackles with tension, and Poirot feels the weight of Hilary's note, trust no one. As the train pulls out of Paris, its whistle piercing the evening, Poirot begins his investigation. He starts with the conductor, a fastidious man named Pierre, who's worked the Orient Express for a decade. Pierre confirms that a woman matching Lady Margaret's description, elegant, feathered hat, boarded with a man resembling Korsakov. He took a private compartment in carriage 3, Pierre says, checking his manifest. Very secretive, kept the curtains drawn. Poirot thanks him and heads to carriage 3, his senses on high alert. The corridor is narrow, the train's gentle sway making every step a challenge. He knocks on the compartment door, but there's no answer. Using a skeleton key Poirot's always prepared, he slips inside. The compartment is empty, but clues abound. A half-empty bottle of vodka, cigarette case with the initials IK, and a train ticket stub for Istanbul. Most intriguing is a scrap of paper tucked under the seat, with a chemical formula scrawled in Hilary's precise handwriting. Poirot's heart races. This is her work. But why is it here? The search is interrupted by a commotion in the dining car. A woman's scream cuts through the clink of glasses, and Poirot hurries to the scene. There he finds Lady Margaret, her face pale, clutching a napkin stained with red wine. Not blood, but the effect is dramatic. She's arguing with a man who matches Korsakov's description, his dark coat now replaced by a tailored suit. The other passengers watch, whispering, as Korsakov storms out. Poirot approaches Lady Margaret, his voice calm but firm. "Madame, we must speak," he says, gesturing to a quiet corner. She hesitates, then follows, her composure fraying. "You're making a mistake, Monsieur Poirot," she snaps, but her eyes betray panic. Poirot confronts her with the telegram and the formula, watching her reaction. "You're involved in the disappearance of Dr. Jessop," he says. "The package on this train, what is it?" Lady Margaret's lips tighten, but before she can respond, "Ta-ta!" A gunshot rings out from carriage 3. Poirot races back, passengers gasping as he pushes through the crowd. In the compartment, he finds Korsakov slumped against the window, blood seeping. From a bullet wound in his chest, he's alive, barely gasping for air. The formula. They want it. For war, he chokes out before passing out. Poirot's mind reels. This is no ordinary murder attempt. The formula is a weapon, and someone on this train is desperate to control it. He calls for the conductor to fetch a doctor and secures the scene, noting a dropped cigarette case near Korsakov's hand. Not the one with IK, but a new one engraved with OF. It's Orion Foundation. The plot thickens, and Poirot realizes the killer is closer than he thought, while the train's doctor tends to Korsakov. Poirot searches the compartment again, finding a hidden panel under the seat. Inside is a locked box, which he opens with his trusty hairpin. It contains a single vial of clear liquid labeled Jessop Formula Prototype. Poirot's blood runs cold. This is what everyone's after, a chemical so powerful it could shift the balance of power in a world already teetering on the edge of conflict. But who shot Korsakov, Lady Margaret, who was in the dining car? Or someone else hiding among the passengers? Poirot's gaze sweeps the crowd, landing on a quiet figure in a corner, a woman in a plain coat, her face half hidden by a scarf. She slips away before he can approach, but her presence feels significant. Let's pause to savor Christie's mastery here. The Orient Express is more than a setting, it's a pressure cooker, trapping suspects and secrets in a confined space. For mystery writers, this is a lesson. A closed environment like a train amplifies tension. It's making every interaction feel like a potential showdown. Try this in your stories. Trap your characters in a place they can't escape, like a train or a locked mansion, and let the clues pile up. It's like turning a simple puzzle into a high-stakes chess game. By now, Poirot's in the thick of it. Korsakov's attack, the formula's discovery, and the mysterious woman in the scarf have raised the stakes to dizzying heights. The Orient Express is speeding toward Istanbul, and Poirot knows the killer is on board, watching his every move. In our next chapter, we'll follow him as he interrogates the passengers and uncovers a connection to Hilary that changes everything. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 7 when it drops. What do you think? Who shot Korsakov? And is Hilary still alive? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to take a lethal turn. Welcome back, mystery fans, to our heart-racing journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're now at Chapter 7, and Hercule Poirot. Our brilliant detective, with his unmatched wit and iconic mustache, is aboard the Orient Express, where danger is as close as the next compartment. In Chapter 6, the stakes skyrocketed when Poirot found Ivan Korsakov shot and clinging to life. Clutching secrets about Dr. Hilary Jessop's formula chemical weapon that could tip the scales of power in 1935's tense world. The discovery of the formula's prototype vial and a mysterious woman in a scarf has turned the train into a rolling powder keg. Hilary's note, destination unknown. Trust no one. It's a constant warning in Poirot's mind, and now he's surrounded by suspects, each hiding their own secrets. This chapter is packed with interrogations, a stunning revelation about Hilary, and a moment that brings Poirot closer to the killer than ever before. So, grab a cozy blanket, maybe some biscuits to munch on, and let's dive into the next twist of this gripping mystery. If you're hooked, smash that like button and subscribe to catch every pulse-pounding clue. The Orient Express is speeding through the European countryside. Its luxurious carriages a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding within. The train's rhythmic sway does nothing to calm Poirot's nerves as he stands in the corridor of carriage 3, where Korsakov lies under the care of the train's doctor. The bullet wound was serious, but not fatal, and Korsakov is stable for now. Poirot's little gray cells are working overtime, piecing together the puzzle. The Orion Foundations. Deception, Lady Margaret's betrayal, Korsakov's espionage ties, and the vial of Hilary's formula found in the hidden compartment. The truth? It is like a tapestry, Poirot murmurs, adjusting his cufflinks. Each thread must be examined to see the pattern. With the killer still on board and the formula at risk, Poirot knows he must interrogate the passengers before. The train reaches its next stop in Munich. Poirot begins in the dining car, where the atmosphere is tense, despite the clink of champagne glasses and the soft hum of a violin. The passengers, a mix of aristocrats, diplomats, and wealthy travelers, are on edge after the shooting. Poirot, with his disarming charm, moves from table to table, posing questions as if making polite conversation. First, he approaches the Turkish diplomat, Mr. Osman Bey, portly man with a waxed mustache almost rivaling Poirot's. Osman claims to be traveling to Istanbul for a trade conference. But his nervous fidgeting with a gold pocket watch raises Poirot's suspicions. "I heard nothing, saw nothing," Osman insists, but his eyes dart toward the corridor where carriage 3 lies. Poirot notes his unease and moves on. Next is the Russian actress, Madame Irina Volkov, a striking woman in her 30s with a penchant for dramatic gestures. She's traveling with a retinue of admirers, but her laughter feels forced. When Poirot mentions Korsakov, her hand freezes on her wine glass. "I don't know the man," she says, her accent thick. "This train is full of strangers? No?" But Poirot notices a scarf draped over her chairplane, gray, similar to the one worn by the mysterious woman he glimpsed after the shooting. He presses gently, asking if she's seen anyone suspicious, and Irina's smile tightens. "People hide many things, monsieur," she says cryptically before excusing herself. Poirot's mustache twitches. A potential suspect, or just another secret in this den of lies. The British honeymooners, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Hartley, are next. Charles, a jovial man with a loud laugh, claims they're celebrating their marriage with a grand tour. His wife, Emily, is quieter, her eyes often fixed on the window. When Poirot asks about the night of the shooting, Charles is dismissive. "Just a bit of drama, old chap." But Emily's hands tremble as she sips her tea. Poirot, ever observant, notices a faint ink stain on her fingers, similar to the kind Hilary's notebooks bore. "Do you enjoy chemistry, Madame Hartley?" he asks casually. Emily flushes, stammering that she knows nothing of science. But Poirot's not convinced her reaction is too sharp for innocence. As the train nears Munich, Poirot returns to Korsakov's compartment, hoping to extract more from the wounded man. Korsakov, pale but conscious, is guarded. "You're wasting your time, Poirot," he rasps, his voice heavy with his accent. "The formula, it's bigger than you know. They'll kill to keep it." When Poirot presses about, Korsakov clams up, but not before muttering a name, Dr. Werner. Poirot's mind races another scientist, perhaps Hilary's colleague or rival. He searches Korsakov's belongings again, finding a hidden pocket in his coat containing a photograph. Hilary Jessop, standing in a laboratory with a man in a white coat, presumably Dr. Werner. The photo is dated a month ago, and Hilary's expression is tense, almost fearful. Is this the key to her disappearance? Poirot's investigation is interrupted by a knock on the compartment door. It's Pierre, the conductor, looking shaken. "Monsieur Poirot, you must come quickly," he says. "There's something in the luggage car." Poirot follows, his heart pounding, to a dimly lit carriage stacked with trunks and crates. Pierre points to a large suitcase, its lock broken. Inside, Poirot finds women's clothing, scarves, a coat, and a pair of glasses identical to those Hilary wore in Willowbrook. But the real shock is a hidden compartment in the suitcase, containing a single page torn from a notebook. It's covered in Hilary's handwriting, detailing a formula adjustment with a chilling note. If this falls into their hands, millions could die. Poirot's blood runs cold. This is no mere disappearance. Hilary's alive, or was recently, and she's trying to protect her creation. The revelation hits like a thunderbolt. Hilary may be on this train. It's hiding in plain sight. Is she Madame Volkov, with her suspicious scarf? Emily Hartley, with her ink-stained fingers? Or someone else entirely, disguised among the passengers? Poirot's mind races back to the note. Trust no one. The killer is here, watching, and the formula's prototype is still at risk. He secures the suitcase and instructs Pierre to keep it locked, but as he turns to leave, he catches a glimpse of the woman in the scarf again, slipping into another carriage. Gives chase, but she vanishes into the crowd, leaving only a dropped handkerchief embroidered with the initials H.J.
Out. Hilary Jessop. Let's take a moment to applaud Christie's genius.
The Orient Express is a masterstroke. It's turning every passenger into a potential suspect while keeping the tension sky high. For mystery writers, this is a lesson. Use a confined setting to force characters together, letting their secrets clash, like sparks. Try this in your stories. Put your suspects in a place where they can't escape a train, a ship, a remote hotel, and let the pressure reveal their true selves. It's like shaking a snow globe and watching the flakes settle into a new pattern. By now, Poirot's closer to the truth, but in greater danger than ever. The suitcase, the photograph, and the handkerchief suggest Hilary's alive, but for how long? The name Dr. Werner and the Orion Foundation's shadow loom large, and the killer is circling. Where next chapter, we'll follow Poirot as he zeroes in on the woman in the scarf and uncovers a connection to Dr. Werner that threatens to derail everything. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 8 when it drops. What do you think? Is Hilary hiding on the train, or is this another trick? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to take a fatal twist. Welcome back, mystery enthusiasts, to our pulse-pounding journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're now at Chapter 8 in Hercule Poirot, our masterful detective with his legendary mustache and razor-sharp intellect, is aboard the Orient Express, where every compartment hides a secret and every passenger could be a killer. In Chapter 7, Poirot uncovered chilling clues: a suitcase with Hilary Jessop's belongings, a photograph linking her to a mysterious Dr. Werner, and a handkerchief with her initials, suggesting she's alive and hiding on this very train. The prototype vial of her deadly formula is still at risk, and her cryptic note, Destination Unknown, trust no one, is a constant warning. Now Poirot's zeroing in on the elusive woman in the scarf, whose fleeting appearances are driving him closer to the truth and the killer. This chapter is packed with suspense, a shocking connection to Dr. Werner, in a moment that puts Poirot in the crosshairs. So, grab a cozy drink, maybe some chocolate to steady your nerves, and let's dive into the next twist of this electrifying mystery. If you're hooked, smash that like button and subscribe to catch every heart-stopping clue. It's 1935, and the Orient Express is slicing through the night, its luxurious carriages a gilded cage for secrets and lies. The train is somewhere in the Alps. The snow-capped peaks outside a stark contrast to the tension within. Poirot, his suit as impeccable as ever despite the sleepless hours, stands in the corridor, clutching the handkerchief embroidered with H.J. His little gray cells are on fire, weaving together the threads: Hilary's formula, Ivan Korsakoff's shooting, Lady Margaret's betrayal, and now Dr. Werner, a name whispered by a dying man. The woman in the scarf is the key she's been seen too many times to be a coincidence. The truth, it is like a star in the daylight, Poirot murmurs, polishing his cane's silver handle. It is there, but one must know where to look. With the train approaching Munich, Poirot knows time is running out to find Hilary and stop the formula from falling into the wrong hands. Poirot begins his hunt in the dining car, where passengers are gathered for breakfast, their polite chatter masking unease after Korsakoff's shooting. His eyes scan the room. The Turkish diplomat Osman Bey, nervously twirling his watch. Madame Irina Volkov, the Russian actress, whose scarf resembles the one Poirot holds. And Emily Hartley, the quiet honeymooner with ink-stained fingers. The handkerchief is his best clue, but it's not enough. He needs to catch the woman in the act. He decides to set a trap, spreading word through the conductor, Pierre. that he's found sensitive documents in Korsakov's compartment. Let it be known discreetly, Poirot instructs Pierre. The guilty will come to me. It's a risky move, but Poirot's counting on the killer's desperation to protect their secrets. As the train rattles toward Munich, Poirot stations himself in the lounge car, a plush space with velvet armchairs and a crackling fireplace. He pretends to read a newspaper, but his eyes are everywhere, watching for the woman in the scarf. Hours pass, and then, just as the train slows for a brief stop, he sees her, a figure in a gray coat and scarf, slipping into carriage 3. Poirot follows, his heart pounding, moving silently down the corridor. Catches her outside Korsakov's compartment, her hand on the door. "Madame, a word if you please," he says, his voice calm but firm. She freezes, then turns, revealing a face he doesn't expect. Not Irina, not Emily, but a woman in her 40s with sharp features and haunted eyes. "You're making a mistake," she whispers, her voice trembling. But the scarf slips, and Poirot sees a locket around her, neck engraved with HJ. It's Hilary Jessop. The revelation is a bombshell, but before Poirot can react, Hilary bolts, darting toward the luggage car. Poirot gives chase, weaving through startled passengers. He corners her in the cramped luggage car, where trunks and suitcases tower like a maze. "Dr. Jessop, you must stop," he says, his tone urgent, but gentle. "I am Hercule Poirot, and I am here to help." Hilary, panting, collapses against a crate, her scarf falling away. "You don't understand," she says, tears in her eyes. "They'll kill me. They want the formula for war." She reveals she's been on the run since Willowbrook, faking her disappearance to protect her work. The Orion Foundation, she says, is a front for a cabal of arms dealers, and Dr. Werner, her former mentor, is their leader. "He betrayed me," she whispers. "He wants to sell the formula to the highest bidder." Poirot listens, his mind racing. Hilary explains that the formula, a chemical compound, can be a medical miracle or a weapon of mass destruction depending on its use. She hid the prototype vial to keep it safe, but Korsakov stole it, working for Werner. The shooting, she believes, was Werner's attempt to tie up loose ends. "Left the note in Willowbrook," she says. "I knew someone would come looking." But before she can say more, a shadow moves behind a crate. Poirot spins, just in time to dodge a knife that glints in the dim light. The attacker, a man in a porter's uniform, lunges again, but Poirot sidesteps, using his cane to trip the assailant. Hilary screams and the man flees, disappearing into the train's chaos. Poirot recognizes the porter's face. It's the Orion Foundation's receptionist from London, disguised. The attack confirms Hilary's story, but it also means the killer is closer than ever. Poirot escorts her to his compartment, where he locks the door and demands the full truth. Hilary reveals that Dr. Werner is on the train, posing as a passenger to oversee the formula's transfer. "He's ruthless," she says. "He'll kill anyone who gets in his way." She points to Osman Bey, the diplomat, as a possible alias. But Poirot's not sure Werner could be anyone. He secures the prototype vial, still in his possession, and vows to protect Hilary until they reach Istanbul.
Ow.
But the handkerchief and the suitcase clues now make sense. Hilary planted them to throw off her pursuers, hoping to buy time. Let's pause to marvel at Christie's craft. The reveal of Hilary's survival is a classic twist, turning the mystery on its head while raising new questions about Werner. For mystery writers, this is a masterclass. Deliver a big reveal, but pair it with a new threat like the porter's attack, to keep the tension high. Try this in your stories. Let your detective find a key answer, but immediately introduce a danger that complicates it. It's like pulling the rug out just as the audience gets comfortable. By now, Poirot's in a deadly game. Hilary's alive. But Dr. Werner and his cabal are closing at her heels, and the formula could spark a global catastrophe. The Orient Express is a ticking clock, and Poirot must unmask Werner before the train reaches Istanbul. In our next chapter, we'll follow him as he confronts Osman Bey and uncovers a final clue that points to the killer's identity. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 9 when it drops. What do you think? Is Osman Bey really Dr. Werner, or is there another twist coming? Drop your theories in the comments below and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to reach its climax. Welcome back, mystery lovers, to our heart-stopping journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in Destination Unknown. We're now at Chapter 9, and Hercule Poirot, our unparalleled detective, with his iconic mustache and razor-sharp little gray cells, is aboard the Orient Express, where the truth is tantalizingly close, but deadlier than ever. In Chapter 8, Poirot found Dr. Hilary Jessop alive, hiding on the train, and learned that her formula is coveted by a ruthless cabal led by her former mentor, Dr. Werner, who's posing as a passenger, knife-wielding attacker from the Orion Foundation. Nearly ended their investigation, and the prototype vial of Hilary's chemical weapon remains a ticking time bomb. Her cryptic note, Destination Unknown, trust no one. It's guided Poirot this far, but now he's racing to unmask Werner before the train reaches Istanbul. This chapter is packed with high-stakes confrontations, a shocking identity reveal, and a final clue that sets the stage for the killer's downfall. So, grab a cozy blanket, maybe some tea to calm your nerves, and let's dive into the penultimate twist of this electrifying mystery. If you're gripped by this tale, smash that like button and subscribe to catch every nail-biting moment. It's 1935, and the Orient Express is thundering through the Balkans. Its luxurious carriages a gilded trap where secrets fester like wounds. The snow-draped mountains outside are a stark contrast to the claustrophobic tension within. As Poirot guards Hilary Jessop in his locked compartment, her revelation that Dr. Werner, a brilliant but ruthless scientist, is orchestrating a plot to sell her formula to arms dealers has turned the train into a battlefield. Poirot, his suit still pristine despite the chaos, clutches the prototype vial. Its clear liquid a silent threat. The truth, it is like a mirror, he murmurs, adjusting his cufflinks. It reflects only what one dares to see. With the train nearing Istanbul, Poirot knows he must unmask Werner and stop the formula's transfer, but every passenger is a potential enemy. And the knife attack in the luggage car proves the killer won't hesitate. Poirot's first move is to confront Osman Bey, the Turkish diplomat Hilary suspects might be Werner in disguise. Finds Osman in the lounge car, sipping coffee and twirling his gold pocket watch with a nervous energy that sets Poirot's instincts ablaze. Monsieur Bey, a word, if you please, Poirot says, his voice smooth but commanding. Osman's smile is polite but strained as he gestures to a seat. Poirot wastes no time mentioning Dr. Werner and the Orion Foundation. Osman's hand freezes on his watch, a telltale sign. I am a diplomat, Monsieur Poirot, he says, his accent clipped. I know nothing of scientists or formulas. But Poirot presses, noting the chemical stains on Osman's cuff faint, but unmistakable to a keen eye. A curious mark for a diplomat, Poirot observes. Osman's composure cracks, and he excuses himself abruptly, claiming a headache. Poirot's mustache twitches. Osman is hiding something. But is he Werner? To test his theory, Poirot enlists the conductor Pierre to keep an eye on Osman while he investigates another suspect, Madame Irina Volkov, the Russian actress whose scarf and evasive answers have lingered in his mind. He finds her in the dining car, surrounded by admirers, but visibly tense. Poirot approaches with charm, offering a compliment on her latest performance before steering the conversation to Korsakov's shooting. Irina's eyes narrow, but she maintains her poise. I know nothing, she says, her voice like silk over steel. Poirot, undeterred, mentions Dr. Werner, watching her closely. Her hand brushes her scarf, the same gray fabric as Hilary's hand. A faint chemical scent clings to her sleeve. You are imaginative, monsieur, she says, rising to leave. But Poirot notices a locket peeking from her neckline, identical to Hilary's. Is Irina another decoy, or something more? Poirot's investigation takes a dramatic turn when Pierre rushes to his compartment with urgent news. Osman Bey was seen entering Lady Margaret Cresswell's compartment late last night. The connection sends Poirot's mind into overdrive. Lady Margaret, already implicated with Korsakov, could be Werner's ally, or even Werner herself in a masterful disguise. He heads to her compartment, knocking firmly. Lady Margaret, elegant as ever in a silk gown, greets him with a frosty smile. "Monsieur Poirot, you are persistent," she says, gesturing to a chair. Poirot confronts her about Osman and Werner, his gaze locking onto hers. Her composure holds, but her fingers tighten around a fan. "You're chasing ghosts," she says. But Poirot spots a notebook on her table. Its cover matching Hilary's missing one from Willowbrook. He feigns up, stumble, knocking the fan to the floor, and swiftly pockets a loose page from the notebook. Lady Margaret doesn't notice, but her eyes follow him as he leaves. Back in his compartment, Poirot examines the stolen page, a chemical diagram with Werner's initials and a note. Istanbul, handover, midnight. The final clue falls into place. The formula's transfer is set for Istanbul, and Werner is orchestrating it. But who is Werner? Poirot reconsiders the passengers, his mind flashing to Charles Hartley, the jovial honeymooner whose wife, Emily, had ink-stained fingers. Charles has been too cheerful, too unassuming, a perfect mask for a mastermind. Poirot recalls a fleeting moment in the dining car, Charles adjusting his glasses, revealing a scar on his temple and mark Hilary described on Werner during her confession. Could Charles be Dr. Werner, hiding behind a bumbling facade? To confirm, Poirot stages a confrontation in the lounge car, gathering Osman, Irina, Lady Margaret, and the Hartleys under the pretense of sharing new evidence. With Hilary hidden in his compartment, Poirot announces he's found the formula and knows Werner's identity. The passengers react. Osman sweats, Irina clutches her locket, Lady Margaret's fan snaps shut, and Charles laughs nervously. But Emily Hartley's reaction is telling. She grips Charles's arm, her eyes wide with fear. Poirot zeroes in, accusing Charles of being Dr. Werner. "You betrayed Dr. Jessop," he says, holding up the stolen page. Charles's jovial mask slips, his scar glinting as he lunges for Poirot, only to be restrained by Pierre and other passengers. "You can't prove anything," Charles snarls. But Emily breaks, sobbing. "He made me help him. He's Werner." The unmasking is electric, but Poirot knows the danger isn't over. Werner's allies, possibly Osman or Lady Margaret, are still on board, and the formula's handover looms. He secures Charles in a locked compartment, vowing to protect Hilary. Until Istanbul. The final clue, the notebook page, confirms the midnight meeting, but with whom? Let's applaud Christie's brilliance here. Unmasking Werner as Charles is a classic twist, using misdirection to hide the villain in plain sight. For mystery writers, this is a gem. Make your villain blend in, using subtle quirks like Charles's scart to hint at their true identity. Try this in your stories. Give your antagonist a disarming persona. Then reveal their darkness through small, cumulative clues. It's like hiding a snake in a flower garden. By now, Poirot's unmasked the mastermind, but the race isn't won. The Orient Express is hurtling toward Istanbul, and Werner's allies are poised to strike. In our final chapter, we'll follow Poirot as he faces the killer in a midnight showdown that decides Hilary's fate and the formula's future. You won't want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch Chapter 10 when it drops. What do you think? Who's Werner's ally? And will Poirot stop the handover? Drop your theories in the comments below, and let's keep this mystery alive. Stay tuned, detectives, because the race is about to end with a bang. Welcome back, mystery lovers, to the thrilling finale of our journey through Poirot's race to stop a killer in destination unknown. We've reached Chapter 10, and Hercule Poirot, our peerless detective, with his legendary mustache and razor-sharp little gray cells, is aboard the Orient Express, where the stakes have never been higher. In Chapter 9, Poirot unmasked Dr. Werner as Charles Hartley, the seemingly jovial honeymooner who betrayed Dr. Hilary Jessop to seize her deadly formula for a cabal of arms dealers. With Werner locked away, the prototype vial secure, and Hilary hiding in Poirot's compartment, the race seems nearly won, but the cryptic note, destination unknown, trust no one, still looms large. Werner's allies are on the train, and a midnight handover in Istanbul threatens to unleash the formula's catastrophic power. This final chapter is an epic showdown packed with heart-stopping suspense, a devastating twist, and the full unraveling of the mystery that began in Willowbrook. So, grab a cozy blanket, a strong cup of tea to steady your nerves, and maybe a notepad to keep up with the clues, because this conclusion will leave you speechless. If you've been hooked by this roller coaster, smash that like button, subscribe. And let's dive into the explosive end of this electrifying tale. It's 1935, and the Orient Express is hurtling through the night, its luxurious blue carriages cutting through the Balkan darkness like a blade. The train is hours from Istanbul, and the air inside is thick with tension, as if every passenger senses the storm about to break. Poirot, his suit still pristine despite the sleepless days, stands in his compartment, guarding Hilary Jessop and the vial of her formula, clear liquid that could heal millions or destroy them. Depending on who controls it, Hilary, pale and trembling, clutches Poirot's arm, her eyes wide with fear. "They won't stop," she whispers. "Werner's people are everywhere." Poirot, his voice calm but firm, reassures her. Mademoiselle Hercule Poirot does not fail. The truth. It will be revealed. But his little gray cells are racing, piecing together the final threads. The black car in Willowbrook, Korsakoff's shooting, Lady Margaret's betrayal, and the notebook page confirming a midnight handover. The truth, it is like a symphony, Poirot murmurs, adjusting his cufflinks. All parts must play in harmony to reach the crescendo. With Charles Hartley revealed as Dr. Werner locked in a guarded compartment, Poirot's focus shifts to identifying Werner's ally. The notebook page mentioned a midnight handover in Istanbul's sprawling port. With its shadowy docks and bustling markets, is the perfect place for a deal to vanish into the night. Poirot suspects Lady Margaret Cresswell, whose ties to Korsakoff and the Orion Foundation scream complicity. But Osman Bey's nervous watch twirling and Madame Irina Volkov's suspicious scarf keep them in play. Even Emily Hartley, Werner's wife, could be more than the sobbing accomplice she seems. Poirot knows the killer is watching, waiting for a chance to strike, and the formula's prototype is a magnet for danger. He secures the vial in a hidden pocket inside his waistcoat, vowing to protect it at all costs. Poirot's first move is to gather intelligence before the train reaches Istanbul. He summons Pierre, the conductor, to his compartment, asking for a detailed passenger list and any unusual activity. Pierre, pale from the recent violence, reports a disturbing detail. Someone tried to break into the luggage car again, where Hilary's suitcase was found. "The lock was tampered with," Monsieur Pierre says, his voice shaking. "I've posted a guard, but it's not safe." Poirot's mustache twitches. This is no coincidence. He instructs Pierre to double the guard on Werner's compartment and keep a close eye on Lady Margaret, Osman, and Irina, the guilty. "They will reveal themselves," Poirot says, his eyes gleaming. To bait the trap, spreads a rumor through a Pierre that he's handing the formula to the Turkish authorities in Istanbul, hoping to flush out the conspirators as the train nears its destination. Poirot returns to the dining car, where the passengers are gathered for a late supper, their faces a mix of forced cheer and barely concealed nerves. The chandeliers cast flickering shadows, and the clink of silverware feels like a countdown. Poirot observes each suspect. Lady Margaret, sipping wine with a steely gaze. Osman Bey, checking his watch obsessively. Irina Volkov, her scarf now gone but her locket glinting. And Emily Hartley, sitting alone, her eyes red from crying. Poirot approaches Emily, sensing she's the weakest link. "Madame, you know more than you say," he says softly, sitting beside her. Emily flinches, her hands twisting a napkin. "I didn't want this," she whispers. "Charles Werner forced me. He said the formula would make us rich, but it's blood money." Poirot presses gently, asking about the handover. Emily's voice drops to a whisper. "It's Lady Margaret. She's meeting someone at the docks, a man called the broker." The revelation sends Poirot's mind into overdrive. Lady Margaret, the polished aristocrat, is the linchpin. He confronts her in the lounge car, where she's alone, fanning herself with calculated calm. "Madame Cresswell, the game is over," Poirot says, holding up the notebook page. We're working with Werner to sell the formula. Lady Margaret's smile is icy. You're clever, monsieur, but you're out of your depth, she says. The Orion Foundation serves a greater purpose power, not peace. Before Poirot can respond, the train lurches, plunging into darkness as the lights flicker out. Scream echoes, followed by a gunshot. Poirot dives for cover, his heart pounding as passengers panic. When the lights return, Lady Margaret is gone, and a window in the lounge car is shattered. Poirot races to the corridor, where Pierre reports seeing Lady Margaret flee toward the rear of the train. With Hilary safe under guard, Poirot pursues, his cane tapping urgently. He finds Lady Margaret in the baggage car, clutching a small case likely the formula's final documents. You cannot stop this, she hisses, brandishing a pistol. But Poirot, ever prepared, distracts her with a feigned stumble, knocking the gun from her hand. As they struggle, Osmond Bey bursts in, revealing himself as the broker. Enough, Margaret, he shouts, drawing a knife. But before he can strike, Inspector Japp, alerted by Poirot's earlier telegram, appears with Turkish police, who storm the car and subdue Osmond and Lady Margaret. The handover is foiled, but the cost is high. Korsakov, left unguarded, has been killed in his compartment, a final loose end tied up by the cabal in the chaos. Poirot returns to Hilary, who's safe, but shaken. She confirms the formula's prototype is secure, and with Werner, Lady Margaret, and Osmond in custody, the Orion Foundation's plot is dismantled. The final truth emerges. Werner, a disgraced scientist, founded the Orion Foundation to fund his ambitions, using Lady Margaret's wealth and Osmond's connections to broker deals with rogue nations. Hilary's formula was their ultimate prize, but her courage and Poirot's brilliance stopped them. As the train pulls into Istanbul, Poirot hands the vial to Japp for safekeeping, ensuring it reaches ethical scientists. The world it is, not ready for such power, he says, his voice heavy. Let's applaud Agatha Christie's mastery. This finale weaves every clue, the black car, the note, the scar, into a satisfying resolution. With Poirot outsmarting a cabal through sheer intellect. For mystery writers, this is a lesson. Tie up loose ends, but let the climax feel earned through small, consistent clues. Try this in your stories. Plant early hints that pay off in a showdown, like a puzzle snapping together. Like crafting. A mosaic where every piece fits perfectly. Poirot's race is won, but the victory is bittersweet. Hilary is safe, the formula secured, but the scars of betrayal linger. As he steps onto Istanbul's platform, Poirot reflects on the cost of truth. This has been an epic journey, and I hope you've loved it as much as I have. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more mysteries. What did you think of the finale? Was Lady Margaret the mastermind you expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the detective spirit alive.
Thank you.
Detectives, for joining this race until the next mystery, au revoir.